Now, in this scenario, when we look at the expression of R, we see that I and E can be assumed that the sections are constant, sections are similar throughout the beam, and E is elastic modulus, which is homogeneous material. So E is same throughout the beam, and in that case, if the bending moment is constant, so the bending moment provided if constant, then the beam will be producing a bend just like an arc of a circle. So for constant bending moment, if M is constant, R is also constant. So this beam when bends, it will take a curvature of an arc of a circle. Now, when this radius of curvature is constant, we can we can uh, compare it with this figure where ACB is the initial position while we have loading we were loading bending moment M, which is constant, provided in here. Then this ACB beam will be bent in a circular arc, and that beam will be take position as A C dot B. So when it is taking A C dot B, this arc will produce the center of curvature at O, and the arc, if completed, then this circle will be produced. Here the deflection at the center C is CC dot, which is when the center having deflection, and this CC dot will be the deflection value, and that is generated by Y. Now at end A, the tangent drawn on the beam will produce an angle theta. So theta is the slope at the end A. Okay. Now in earlier class we have seen in earlier class we have seen that the tan theta, which is very small in practical case, and if expressed in radian, then we can write tan theta equal to theta. Now tan theta is equal to dy dx. Now when tan theta can be called dy dx, we will just take the value magnitude only. Now in that case also we can say that AC is equal to CB. Both will be equal to L by 2. If the length of beam is L, then this AC is L by 2, CB is also L by 2. Now from the formula of geometry of circle, we have earlier in class 10 we have learned that AC into CB is equal to CC dash into CD. So in that case we just put the values. AC and CB both are L by 2 and L by 2, and you see this CC dot is Y and DC dash is 2R. So DC will be equal to 2R minus Y. We have written here 2R minus Y into CC dash is Y. So by simplifying, we have found out Y equal to L square by 8R, and that is what we will use in the uh, next scenarios. So when we also have found out that M by I equal to E by R and R equal to E by I, sorry, E into I divided by M. So this value of r will be replaced in this formula we have just found out, y equal to L square by 8r. So in place of r, we will use EI by m. From here, you can find out y equal to, simplifying it, ml square by 8 EI. So at central position, for constant bending moment, we will find the deflection is ml square by 8 EI. The condition is m should be constant. Now, from triangle AOC, from this triangle AOC, if this angle is theta, AOC is theta, so then sine theta can be written as, this is also r, radius of curvature, this is L by 2, so sine theta can be written as L by 2 by r, that will equal to L by 2r. Now, we also know that when theta is very small, then sine theta equal to theta when theta is in radian. So theta will be equal to L by 2r, or we can put the value of r here, EI by m. So finally, it gives us ml by 2 EI, which is basically giving us the angle in radian, the slope of the beam, of the deflected beam at A. And because the situation is similar, at B also we will get the theta value is as same. But we are not talking about the direction here, only magnitude. Now, then we will find out the relation between slope, deflection and radius of curvature. Relation between slope, deflection and radius of curvature. Now, we will draw images to show a deflected beam with respect to a coordinate system. Okay, so we will take 2 points and we will draw the radius. So we will draw the tangent. Okay, so this is the center of the curvature. This is the beam AB. Say this is P, this point is Q. So now say this much is dx, this much is dy, and this length is ds. Here the angle is d psi. I will explain it. So the scenario is the curve AB here representing the deflection of a beam as shown in the figure. Here this AB is the deflected beam. Now consider small portion PQ of this AB. PQ portion only we will consider, small portion. Now let the tangents at P and Q make angle phi and psi and psi plus d psi with respect to the horizontal axis or x axis. Okay. Now So when the tangent at P and Q making angle psi and d psi with respect to the x-axis, so they are normal at P and Q will meet at C such that this PC is equal to CQ. PC is equal to CQ, which will be equal to R. R is the radius of curvature and C is the center of curvature in the figure. Now let this length of PQ is equal to ds. Let length of PQ is equal to ds. Okay. So now angle PCQ from the geometry we can see is d psi. So PQ ds can be written as R into d psi. So from here we can write ds equal to R into d psi. So now from here we can write that R is equal to ds d psi. Now if x and y be the coordinate of point P, okay, x and y be the coordinate of point P. That means if you extend this over here, it will give us x and it will give us y over here. Okay, coordinate of point P is x and y. In that case, you will find tan psi is equal to dy dx, sin psi is equal to dy ds, and cos psi is equal to dx ds. So if you just look at this triangle, right angle triangle, you can easily find out how this happens. So now these are all psi. Okay. So now tan psi is equal to dy dx, cos psi equal to dx ds, sin psi equal to dy ds. Okay. So this equation, this is say equation 1, this r into ds d psi. This say this is equation 1, and these all are can be used as set of equation 2. All this set of equations are say 2, or you can just remember this one. This will be required later on, so that you just give is at 2. Now so from equation 1 of equation r, if we write over here, so then r is equal to ds d psi. We put the values over here. ds d psi can be written as ds dx by d psi dx. So now ds dx can be written as from here 1 by cos psi. So from this here ds dx can be replaced as 1 by cos psi, and d psi dx will remain as it is. So this is all d. Okay. Now 1 by cos psi can be written as sec psi. So r can be written as sec psi by d psi dx. Okay. We are still now just doing on geometry. Now we have this equation 2 here. tan psi equal to dy dx. So if we differentiate equation 2 with respect to s, differentiating equation 2 with respect to x, which one? This one, tan psi equal to dy dx. So we will then get sec square psi into d psi dx is equal to d2y, sorry, d2y dx2. So from here we can write d psi dx is equal to d2y dx2 divided by sec square psi. We can write that just simply keeping the sec square psi from left hand side to right hand side. Now we can get d psi dx. Okay, we have found d psi dx. Now earlier we have found r is equal to sec psi by d psi dx. Let it be equation 3. Sorry, let it be equation 3. And now we replace this value of d psi dx in here. So substituting, let it be in the next page. Substituting the value of d psi dx, we have just found out in equation 3. What was equation 3? Equation 3 was r into sec psi by d psi dx. So in place of d psi dx, we'll put this value. Let us put, so r is equal to sec psi by, we'll put the value d2y dx2 by sec square psi. Okay, now then upon simplification it becomes sec cube psi by d2y dx2. So now if we take a reciprocal in both sides, it becomes 1 by r is equal to d2y dx2 divided by sec cube psi. Sec cube psi can be rewritten as sec square psi to the power 3 by 2. So now this sec square psi again rewritten sec square psi can be rewritten as 1 plus tan square psi. In the outward that was 3 by 2, just as it was. Now for a practical beam, the slope dy dx at any point will be small quantity. So I am repeating it again. What is the condition? Tan psi, what is tan psi? Tan psi is the slope. We have earlier found out what is tan psi. Tan psi is dy dx. So dy dx is of course very small quantity for a practical beam, as the practical beam does not bend much. So dy dx will be very small. So tan psi will be very small. So very small having a square here, tan square. So that will become more small. So for a practical beam, tan psi, which is called slope of the beam, is very small. So square of a small quantity is more small, and can be neglected. Okay, so we can write 1 by r, therefore 1 by r is equal to d2y dx2. Now we know that r is equal to m sorry, r can be found out from this formula, m by I is equal to e by r. So from here we can get that 1 by r will be equal to m by ei, where this ei is called flexural rigidity. Okay, now this, from this equation we can write d2y dx2 will be equal to 1 by r or equal to m by ei. So now from here we can find out that m can be written as ei d2y dx2. So this is a very important equation. This is very important equation, or this one or this one, same thing. So now if you look at this equation, you will find upon integration of this equation, we will get dy dx, which will be a slope of the beam at anywhere at the value of x. If we put, then we can get the slope of the beam. If we do further integration, that means double integration, then we get y or deflection. So single integration of this equation will give us the slope. Double integration of this equation or integration of slope equation, we will get the deflection. This is the integration, simple integration method of to finding out the deflection of beam. Now if we do once more derivative of it, then we get dm dx is equal to ei, as ei is constant, d3y by dx3. So what is it? This dm is the moment. When we divide moment with length, then we get force. So dm dx is equal to F, which is shear force. Now, so F can be written as EI d3y dx3. If we do further derivation, df dx, F is shear force. So when you do further integration, then you get the loading rate. This will be d4y by dx4. So this df dx is equal to loading rate. Okay, this is how we can find out loading rate. So now, so the slope, the deflection is y, slope is dy dx, bending moment is ei into d2y dx2, shear force ei into d3y by dx3, and the rate of loading ei into d4y by dx4. Now the units to be taken accordingly, I will short it out in a summary. Where when you find out with help of this equation, you will get y. Y is deflection, dy dx is slope, bending moment is ei d2y dx2, shear force EI d3y dx3 and rate of loading is equal to EI d4y dx4. Okay. Now, when there are a lot of methods, number of methods to find out this deflection, and when you make single integration of this equation, then you get dy dx or slope. When you get double integration, that is, you are getting y or deflection. So this method is called double integration method or simple integration method. We will solve this integration method with a token problem. Okay, we will find out the deflection of a simply supported beam carrying a point load at the center. We will draw the figure. We have a beam, both are simply supported at two ends. There is a concentrated load at the middle, let it be W. So the total length is L. Now the beam will deform just like this dotted line. So say at center the deflection is YC. Okay, this is A end, this is B end, this is center C, and the deflection here is YC. So now, because of this similarity, the reaction at both ends will be W by 2, and W by 2 we will neglect the weight of the beam. So now, then RA equal to RB will be equal to W by 2. Okay, we will consider a section. Our job is to find out YC, the deflection at the middle. For that purpose, we will take a section. This is double integration method we are practicing. Okay, so say let this is a section XX at a distance of small x from the end A. Okay, so at section X, the bending moment mx can be written as Ra into x. So basically putting the value W by 2 into x. Okay, now our bending moment equation is m equal to EI d2y dx2, and we know this m value should be equal to this value we have just found out. So at x, these must be satisfying each other. M equal to EI d2y dx2 will be equal to W by 2 into x. We have just found out. Okay, so we have just equate our general equation of bending with general equation of deflection due to constant bending moment with this value. So now from here we can integrate Upon integration, we get on the left hand side, integrating both sides, ei into dy dx. On the right hand side, we will get w by 2 into x square by 2 plus there will be a constant of integration. There will be a constant of integration. So now this C1 value to be found out by using the boundary conditions. We let name this equation as 1, this equation as 2. Okay. Now our job is to find out C1. So C1 can be found out by using boundary equation. What are the boundary equation? What can be done? At x equal to L by 2 at the middle, the slope of the beam will be 0. The tangent at center will be horizontal. So at x equal to L by 2, slope dy dx will be equal to 0. So now that if we put in here, so ei into 0 will be equal to w by 2 into, in place of x we will put L by 2 C1. So finally we will get C1 is equal to minus WL square by 16. So if we put the value of value of C1 in the equation number 2, and then we will get the general equation. We get ei dy dx is equal to w by 2 into x square by 2. Sorry, this is C1. C1 is negative. So this is negative WL square by 16. So this is the slope equation for the problem. If we put any value of x here, you will get the corresponding dy dx and the slope. So this equation is called slope equation. Okay, we can find the slope of any point in the beam by substituting the value of x. So slope is maximum at a, so and x equal to 0, and also substituting x equal to L, there also the slope will be maximum, that will give us at point B. But because of similarity, they will all be same. So at A, when x equal to 0, at A, x equal to 0, putting the value ei into dy dx at A give us w by 4 into x value is 0. 0 square means 0 minus w L square by 16. So from here, if we denote this dy dx at A by theta A, then theta A will give us, let it write, otherwise later on might be any problem. That slope can be written as minus WL square by 16, and ei comes in this side. So this is the value of theta A, and similarly the same magnitude will be found on the end B due to symmetry, and these are the slopes in radian. Remember this, theta A is in radian, will be is equal to theta B, and the value will be minus WL square by 16 ei. So this is how you will find out the slope. Theta equal to theta B equal to WL square by 16 ei. So this is how you will find out the slope. Now our job is to find out deflection. So we have found out this equation number 3 as the slope equation. There is a dy dx term and we need to find out y. So if we again integrate this equation number 3, then we get the value of y or the deflection. So for finding out deflection at any point, we will integrate this equation 3 with respect to x. So let us integrate equation number 3. Integrating equation number 3. So we can write EI into y is equal to w by 4 into x cube by 3 minus wl square by 16x plus constant C2. Let it be again. The equation was EI, integrating it becomes y, EI into y on the left hand side, EI into y left hand side, and integrating it further on the right hand side, w by w by 4 into x square. So it becomes w by 4 into x cube by 3, w by 4 constant in x cube by 3, then again minus wl square by 16. Upon integrating with respect to x, we will get wl square by 16 into x plus there will be an integration constant C2. So this, upon integrating the slope equation, we will get this equation. Now the C2 need to be find out. Also the boundary condition here to be used at x equal to 0, the deflection y is 0. So at x equal to 0, y equal to 0. Put it into the equation. Let it be equation number 4. We will find out EI into 0 will be equal to w by 4 into 0 by 3 minus wl square by 16 into 0 plus C2. So everything is 0. So we can write C2 is equal to 0. So the equation number 4 can be written as simply EI into y is equal to w by 12 x cube minus wl square by 16x. This can be written as equation number 5, or this is known as the deflection equation. This is known as deflection equation. As is content y, upon putting the value of x, we can get the deflection y at that particular x value. So when we are trying to find out the maximum deflection at the center, we have to put just x equal to L by 2. So at center x equal to L by 2, putting it on here, we will get EI into YC. Let at center or at C, we'll put x equal to L by 2. So L by 2 cube minus W into L square by 16 into L by 2. We just put x equal to L by 2. So finally from the equation we will get y is equal to minus WL cube by 48 EI. These are coming minus, that is the deflection is downward. So negative sign, remember this negative sign shows deflection is downward. So the value magnitude can be find out by this term YC is equal to WL cube by 48 EI. So for different loading condition, this deflection will be also be different, because we have found out here this moment is Ra into X here. So this value here will be changed for different cases, and for that purpose, for when we replace it in this equation, then our slope and deflection equation will be different and the value will come different. This is the double integration method. Now this double integration method is easy for similar case. For simple cases, the much number of forces will increase, the much difficult it is going to be. So that's why there are other methods that are also used. In my point, Macaulay method is very easy. The most easy one is Macaulay method, but this Macaulay method is not in your syllabus, so we will not discuss that. In your syllabus, let me open it first. In your syllabus, it says beam deflections, deflections by simple integration, method of superposition, energy methods, Castigliano's theorems, statically determinate and indeterminate problems on beam deflections. So this method of superposition and this energy method uses the Castigliano theorem. So if you know the Castigliano theorem, the energy method automatically can be found out. So these two are to be solved. Okay, so our time is up, already 10:50. We cannot use new method. So today we'll stop here. Any issues? Otherwise, we'll end this. We will first try to complete the syllabus. When the syllabus is done, then we will go for Viva with full syllabus. Okay, then we'll stop here. We'll meet you on the next class. Stay safe.